Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another video. This is another unplanned video, so whatever you saw promoted to go up this week is probably going to be out next week. And the reason it's a part 2 that's unplanned is because part 1 from last week was unplanned. So if you haven't already seen my Dear Sarah's Day video, please go and check that out before you watch this. It's full of context and information you would need to watch this, otherwise it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. I'd like to extend my thanks to everyone in the comments section, not just people who follow me, but people who are followers of Sarah's who were so open-minded and so gracious, who could see a different perspective, and there was no abuse on that video. I didn't have to delete anything, so that's a pretty great feat for the internet. But speaking of comment sections and feedback, I had not intended on making a part 2 to this video, but you might have noted in part 1, Dear Sarah's Day, I mentioned that one of my key motivators in drawing attention to this was that feedback, comments across her social media platforms, that was all being deleted. And I didn't realize the volume of what was being deleted until a very, very industrious follower, actually a couple of people, sent me an extraordinary number of screenshots of comments which have been deleted. And they broke my heart. By the majority, they were followers of Sarah detailing their own eating disorder histories and being so polite and kind and gracious in what they were asking of her and what they were presenting to her. It's not easy to open up about your mental illness. To share that with someone is a really, really big deal. And I didn't see a single bit of trolling or abuse, which is kind of what I was prepared for. I was prepared to open them and be like, well, fair enough if she deleted that. I didn't see one that I would categorize as trolling or abuse. It was feedback. Some of it was impassioned, but it was feedback. It was kind, it was rational, and it was, like I said, from her own audience asking for an explanation or clarification, which she hasn't provided. Didn't expect any major change to come out of that video. I've been doing this for long enough. That's not what the outcome usually is, because my job is not really to educate people in positions of influence. I never make those kinds of videos with the intention of changing their minds. They're incentivized not to. They're making a lot of money off their position. It's not really just about philosophy and belief. There is sort of a money-making element to it as well. And changing their whole viewpoint from, oh, I'm hurting people, to I should stop, unlikely when there's money coming in, right? My job is to reach the audience and say, this might be a different way of thinking about it. You might actually be in a scary, precarious position, and you don't have to be. There is another way to approach this, or, if you need help, there is help for you. But to see people generously detailing their eating disorders and asking for clarification, asking for explanation, just giving their viewpoint, and to see that mass deleted as an advocate really, really doesn't sit well with me, and I'll tell you why. I mentioned in my Dear Sarah's Day video that eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. Facts. Another fact, for the longest time, even though eating disorders had the highest mortality rate, they received the least funding. That is improving, but only in the last 1.5 to 2 years. We have not been listened to. We have not been taken seriously. We have been told that we are vain, that it is just our problem to eat a burger, to just get over it. And I'm kind of over that, which it seems many of you are too. Somebody in the comment section on my last video mentioned, well, you can't be angry at Sarah's Day. Everyone's too easily offended. You have to be responsible for yourself. This is like telling a bartender, they shouldn't serve alcohol in case there's an alcoholic at the bar. These two things are not the same. This is more like an alcohol brand marketing specifically to problem drinkers or alcoholics, telling them that the cure to their alcoholism is alcohol. That's the analogy, not someone standing in a bar maybe serving drinks to somebody who has a problem with alcohol. We're not talking about hurt feelings, being easily offended. We're talking about life and death. I said in that last video that you have to listen to vulnerable communities. And at the very least, that is what we owe our audiences. If you stand behind your message, if you stand behind your marketing and your product, those comments wouldn't need to be deleted. That's why I don't delete comments unless they are abusive to myself or others, because I stand behind what I say. Criticism or feedback isn't going to negate that I feel that I can fully stand behind what I say. When I am criticized and I agree with it, I say I agree with it. The offending content comes down. I try to grow and learn and change my message. Do any of us do it perfectly? No. But just deleting the feedback of people suffering from the most deadly mental illness is not it. One thing I am so incredibly heartened by, as someone who has been observing this space for almost a decade, is how little you are all tolerating this nonsense, this diet culture, fitness culture nonsense. That was not the case when I was originally bringing light to bikini body challenge programs and dangerous nutrition and health advice being disseminated by unqualified individuals. It was a minefield. And now it's changing. Things are changing. So I just want you to be encouraged by that as someone sort of observing that things are changing. And collectively, we have the power to say we've had enough. I'm personally not going to tolerate that message being silenced, which is why I will be putting a selection of the comments left that have been deleted. Again, this is a very small sample out of the hundreds that were compiled for me. A huge thank you to those 2 subscribers who went to all that work. If you're not going to be heard by individuals who are making money off this damaging message, I don't want anyone to be left with the impression that they are not heard or they are not important or that we are not paying attention. There are plenty of people paying attention. And these things always tend to go the same way. The people who put their head in the sand, who refuse to listen to feedback about how they are being irresponsible or how they are damaging individuals, water always finds its own level. And your greatest superpower, other than your voice, which obviously has the potential to be deleted, is your own demonstration of your own life, how you choose to live your life, rejecting limiting beliefs and messages like this. So as an advocate, I am incredibly encouraged by your awareness and your response and how things have changed. But we are watching and we are listening and we are no longer tolerating being silenced. It's just not going to happen. So these are some of the comments left on Sarah's posts. Even if you don't understand eating disorders and this was a silly mistake, please, as an influencer with many teen girls following you, educate yourself. You can message me. I had a long-term eating disorder and was affected negatively by your content. Love your programs and have been a fan of your YouTube account for a long time, so I know your intention was not to promote an unhealthy obsession with weight, body image, but unfortunately the wording of your ad seems to be a bit triggering for people with an eating disorder history. Might be best to rework this ad to avoid damaging messaging to your followers. And it goes on and on and on. And as I said, it's just a sample. So that's how I'm going to close out this video, is just to play the remainder of the comments that I selected from the huge amount that I was sent. Like I said, it's one thing to stand behind your message and to not really agree with feedback and criticism. It is another to silence a vulnerable demographic who are being kind and also being incredibly generous and sharing their experience with you as a business owner. So much love to you guys. I will be back next week with a video that was meant to come out this week. In the meantime, as always, much love. Take care. Bye, guys.